If a polygon of n sides has a n by 2 of n minus 3 diagonals, how many sides are there in a polygon with 65 diagonals? Is there a polygon with 50 diagonals? We need to check that whether a polygon have the 50 diagonals or not, and we need to find out a number of sides of a polygon with the 65 diagonals. And what else they mention that number of diagonals of a polygon with the n sides is equal to n by 2 of n minus 3. So let me write that what is given. They can mention that given that number of diagonals of a polygon with the n sides is equal to n into n minus 1 3 by 2. And what do they mention? They are asking us to find out number of sides in the polygon with the 65 diagonals. That means the number of diagonals of the given polygon, number of diagonals of a given polygon is 65. And we know that number of diagonals of a polygon with the n sides is n into n minus 3 by 2. That means you can write it as an n into n minus 3 by 2 is equal to 65, and transporting this 2 to other hand, we can write it as an n into n minus 3 is equal to 65 into 2, which is of n into n minus 3 is equal to, you get it as a 130. And applying distributive property, this can be written as n square minus 3n, and on transporting this past to 130 to other hand, it becomes minus 130. This is equal to 0. Now it is in the form of standard form of quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where x is an n. Okay, so in the place of x, what variable is there? We have n. So on comparing it, we will get a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 3, and c is equal to, we get it as an minus 130. Now we need to take the product of a and c. What is the product of a and c? Product of a and c is 1 into minus 130, which is of minus 130. Now what we need to do? We need to do this minus 130 as a product of two numbers, and adding them you should get a minus 3, which is of b. So can we write this minus 130 as a product of two numbers whose sum gives you minus 3? Means yes, we can write this minus 130 as a product of two numbers as a minus 13 into plus 10 gives you minus 130, and adding this minus 13 and plus 10, what you are going to get? Minus 3, which is of b. That means in this equation, in the equation n square minus 3n minus 130 is equal to 0. In this, instead of writing minus 3n has to be written as minus 13n plus 10n. Okay, so I am writing it as an n square minus 13n plus 10n minus 130 is equal to 0. Now on taking n as a common from the first two terms, this can be written as n of n minus 13 plus, on taking 10 as a common, 10 of n minus 13 is equal to 0. Again on taking n minus 13 as a common, you get it as an n plus 10 is equal to 0. Now here product of two numbers is equal to 0 means then definitely any one of them is equal to 0. That means either n minus 13 is equal to 0 or n plus 10 is equal to 0. Then you get it as an n is equal to 13 or n is equal to minus 10. And if you observe this, we got two values of n, that is of n is equal to 13 or n is equal to minus 10. And what is the n here? N is number of sides in the polygon, and we cannot imagine a polygon with a negative 10 as a size, so it is impossible. So that we will neglect this value of n. So what is the value of n? N is equal to 13. That means number of sides of a polygon with 15 diagonals is 13. Now what else we need to do means we need to check that is there any polygon with 50 diagonals. That means if a number of diagonals is equal to 50, and we all know that the number of diagonals, formula for the number of diagonals is n into n minus 3 by 2 is equal to 50. Now on transporting this 2 to other hand of equation, we get it as an n square minus 3n is equal to 100, and transporting this past 200 to other hand of equation, n square minus 3n minus 100 is equal to 0. Now if you observe this equation, and there is no real value of n for which this equation is satisfied, so then number of diagonals of a polygon as a 50 is not possible. That means there is no polygon with the diagonals 50. That means, let me write that there is no real value of n for which above equation is satisfied. Therefore, there cannot be a polygon with the 50 diagonals.